So guys, I'm Michael on for TravelCostaRicaNow.com, and this is another in the series of the expat videos we do. And I think we kind of got a treat today because we're going to be talking to Lair, knows a lot about Costa Rica. So get ready, fasten your seatbelts. I don't know about the bumpy ride thing, but so okay, first, where are we?
We're in Grecia. This is a town of about 16,000, about an hour north of the airport in the mountains.
So how did you find yourself in Grecia?
Well, I visited here for 20 years before I ever moved. And almost every year I
so you did it right.
Yeah, I think I did. Almost every year I would come here and I would check the place out, knowing full well that someday I wanted to retire here.
Now, did you travel?
All over the country, over the country. And Grecia, I had certain criteria. I was going to be retired, and I have a heart condition. I was going to need health care, and I was wanted to be where there was a hospital or nearby, or fairly nearby, and that limits your choices. I also wanted to be close enough to the big city that I could go in and get my dose of big city culture and
go out and do some partying on Friday nights.
So Grecia was just about an hour from San Jose, so I could go in and have lunch and come home in time to have my nap.
So I'm assuming you were looking at things like maybe besides the healthcare, like, I don't know, climate.
Climate, and you can't beat Grecia. Despite what the folks in
tennis, I'm telling you.
No, they got it wrong. But we let them think that because the more people that move there, the less people move here.
Exactly. So what would you say was I don't know if it's your biggest draw that got you here or the best of Costa Rica? I'm not sure. Maybe it is what got you here. What did you like the best? What were the things that drew you?
Well, originally, I think it was the people. More so than, the scenery's wonderful, the climate is great.
And the parrots going by your window and the toucans.
That's right, all of that, the monkeys swinging out the trees in the backyard, all of that.
Welcome to paradise.
Yeah. It's all there, but we talk about having Tico moments. When a Tico, a Costa Rican, will do something that just takes your breath away. It is so nice, it is so kind. And I think that is the thing that most attracted me to the country.
Because they will stop. They do have time to help, kind of.
They're
not in a rush all the time. They can kind of go, I can help with.
Yeah, and it's also, this is a very tolerant culture. It doesn't, doesn't ask much of you. You don't have to live your pace. You can live their pace and enjoy every moment, which is the key to living in Costa Rica, I think.
Now, I hate to do this, but if we're going to talk about the good, you got to say something that maybe some of the things that maybe, I don't know, irk you. Maybe nothing irks you, but what would you say some of the things you might have a harder time with here?
Well, the honeymoon is over. I really do live here now, and I've been here 9 years. So, there are things that bother me, that irk me. Nowhere near as many as that bother me at home. But, they tend to be minor of the whole overall. And I think a real key to being an expat is to remember that you are a guest in this country. And although we are very welcome, we are guests. And if you cannot find humor in the situation, you're in the wrong place, and chances are you're going to end up going back home.
Yeah, but could you give an example? Maybe that was very nice.
Okay.
But is there a couple of things that you're kind of going,
Well, let's talk about indirect communication.
You're not going to be a complainer, aren't you? We're just asking maybe.
Yeah, okay, indirect communication. Gringos frequently say, they lie to us all the time. They're always lying. They're not lying to you. They're using indirect communication. Here's an example. I'm walking down the street, and a car pulls over and asks me, is this the road to San Sarchi? And I say, yes. Now, any Tico, no matter his education, would drive down to the corner, turn around, and go back. He knows that this guy told him, no, this is not the road to Sarchi. A gringo would drive down there and say, that man lied to me. That's one of the things that takes getting used to. And you better get used to it, because indirect communication is real. And it means that you don't hurt people's feelings. You tell them what they want to know. And there's all kinds of little cultural things. This is not Florida del Sur, and it is not Hawaii South. It really is another country entirely. And I think that is the hardest thing to adjust to.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, although this culture is kind of a stereotypical of what you just said, actually, the Asian culture's got a little bit of that in them. The
Yeah.
people in the south of the United States
Yes.
have a little bit of that in them.
Yes.
Southern
Yes.
hospitality.
That's
They'll
right.
be nice as they can be, but
Passive aggressive.
that layer, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the biggest, I don't know, misconception that maybe outsiders have about Costa Rica?
That it's Florida del Sur. That look, I can come to Costa Rica and relive the perfect lifestyle that I wish I could live at home. This is not at home. So you may try to duplicate your lifestyle here, but then don't complain to me when it costs you a lot. And don't complain when things don't work the way they're supposed to be, because you're making assumptions that you can duplicate your lifestyle in the United States.
That's probably the biggest one we see. I think people try to do the same things here but still having paradise.
That's right.
They want what they want.
That's right.
Damn it, I still want my hot water in each faucet. And my
Yes.
things I want.
Yeah.
And my peanut butter.
Yeah. Well, I'm lucky. I do have hot water in all my faucets, which is
And I don't.
which is strange,
Most people do. I would say most Ticos don't when you say that. Most of it, they might have a hot
If
water.
they build
shower.
their house, they will. But then it costs them. It costs you. But one of the interesting things is there's a soap that you buy in the grocery store that cuts the grease on dishes in cold water. So you adjust to the culture.
I know that. So what do you think the biggest mistake is for folks that come down here to make a life? I don't know.
I think they move too fast. I think we come from a culture where we want it now. And here, you can want it now, but you better learn patience, because it's going to take patience. You don't try to get everything today. For example, I think you're making a serious mistake if you buy property within the first year you've been here.
Ugh.
60% of the people who move here intending to stay forever turn around and go home within 2 years. Half of them have built a mansion, and they've now got to unload it on somebody.
And they're going to get half the money that they put
And
into
guess who
it.
who they will unload it on? Another unsuspecting gringo who doesn't know any better. Take your time. It's very possible to live inexpensively here. Very possible. Me too. I went to Brazil for a month. I went to Europe for a month in the last 3 years, and I did it on the money I saved from my Social Security check. I did not touch my savings.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, I think I know the answer to this next question then. Would you do anything different? I'm thinking you probably wouldn't, because you might have done it right the first time.
Well, I don't know that I would do anything different. Because of my having come here for 20 years, I can't imagine a person being more prepared for the transition than I was. Mm-hmm. Now, I certainly have not done everything right. I've certainly made mistakes, and but overall, I think I really played it pretty well.
So obviously no regrets, because you're still here.
No regrets. No regrets.
So everybody wants to know, boxes or, no, not boxes, or briefs actually, rent or own?
Briefs. Oh, wait. Rent initially at least a year. Then if you want to own, take your time and don't tell anybody. Trust me, everything in this country is for sale. Some things have signs on them, some things don't, but it's all for sale. If you say you're looking to buy something, believe me, there are a billion people ready to knock on your door. So keep it to yourself. Just ask around strategically, and you will find your piece of paradise.
I gotta tell you, the more I'm living here, I like renting. I still kind of get that mentality where if I want to get up and go...
I've taken care of the last yard I want to take care of.
Exactly.
When my faucet breaks, my landlord can replace it. I don't have to go down to the hardware store and try to figure out the word for faucet.
Nor do you want to.
You know, I don't have to do those things, and I'm old enough so that I'm not going to anymore. I mean, I live in a perfectly happy place, and so why should I? I mean, this country is a social democracy. That means it's a renter's market. It's not a landlord's market. It's a worker's market.
That's true.
It's not the employer's market. You know, this country has the strange idea that a government should work for the people. What a concept, huh?
Nice, yeah, right? I get a lot of questions, we get a lot of questions about the whole, I don't want to say immersion, whatever, but, and I know that probably if you knew Spanish perfectly, it probably would be nice. How's your Spanish?
I can make myself understood. I can read just about everything. I can't understand worth a darn. But this is a bilingual country. This country, by government policy, is attempting to become bilingual. It is very difficult for me to practice my Spanish because Ticos need to practice their English.
Thank you. Finally, I get Greek, and it's especially in Fortuna, where it's like touristy, and everyone learns the touristy.
They need to talk English. They need to practice. And you're their only opportunity to do that. That's something we can give this country.
They want you to do Rosetta Stone on your own time.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I look at it as this country welcomes us as Tico, as gringos. The one thing that they need is to be able to practice their English. Here we are. We're the perfect thing. We can give them a gift in return for their welcome.
There you go.
And I think we need to do that.
And if they want to learn the swear words from me, maybe come to me.
Yeah. And I know how to pick up.
Anyway, guys, I hope you found this informative, and we might be talking to Lair again. I got a feeling we will be. So, Lair, thank you very much for talking to us. I am Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps.